Hello and welcome to the 2026 Open Day Countdown, a series where we're counting down to opening day by briefing alternate teams to MLB. Yesterday we spoke about the Arizona Diamondbacks, and today we'll be talking about the Texas Rangers. Last year, the Rangers finished with a record of 81 and 81, third place in the West. The first team recovering that finished at least 500 last year, but they were projected to finish a little bit better than that. They fell a little bit below expectations, uh, largely due to underperformance. But without further ado, let's get into it. So at the top, obviously Corey Seager, very good bat. Hasn't really been healthy the past few years. He's always like played somewhat, but not a full season. You're sort of hoping for a full season out of him because like you can get a very good bat out of him, a 138 WC plus, a 156 BFIP plus. So and also like he's also a very good defender at shortstop. Uh, just a very good player overall, and you're just hoping that he can stay healthy for the full year. You also have Langford, a nice young player in the outfield. Nice power, draws walks, a little bit of strikeouts, but that's fine. He's still an above average hitter as well. 118 WC plus and 125 BFIP plus. But then we get into the guys who really overperformed. I want to like highlight uh these these two in particular. Jock Peterson and Jake Berger. They're both projected to be very good bats, and by BFIP plus they were pretty good. 113 for Jock and 107 for Jake Berger. But their WRC punch was very below expectations. And the thing is that Jock, he's your DH, strong side platoon, if we get into the splits. Jock, generally good against righties, against lefties. He wasn't used against lefties, only 19 play appearances. He was good against them, but again, small sample because he was platooned. And then Jake Berger, 107 BFIP plus. Against righties, he was actually a little bit below average, but still above what his WRC plus was. And against lefties, he 122 WRC plus, 140 BFIP plus, so really matches lefties. So the thing is that these two bats are Jock Peterson was your DH strong side platoon. Jake Berger was your everyday first baseman. So you're really hoping for a lot more offense than you end up getting out of. You generally hope for a lot more offense than you ended up getting out of those two positions, and I think that's largely why they fell below expectations. I know they also had a few other guys who underperformed, notably Josh Young. He missed a bit of time as well, but like he's also a guy who you're sort of hoping to be a decent hitter. He's still 91 WC plus, but BFIP plus a bit lower on him. And then yeah, that's just like the offense really underperformed last year, but they have a lot of guys who are above average by BFIP plus. So I think they have a chance to bounce back. Like they added McCutcheon this offseason. I think he's sort of like in that bench bat role, but even though against by BFIP plus he was above average overall, he doesn't really have that much defensive utility. So that's why I'm not really like he's at best he's a DH, but yeah. So yeah, just a solid bat on your bench, I guess. Osuna, he's small sample, but he was pretty good. I believe he was good at AAA as well. Yeah, AAA he had a 152 WRC plus and a 138 BFA plus, and he was able to carry that over into big leagues. Small sample. Well, sorry, not that small sample, but like WRC plus was low, a BFA plus was on him. So like, I want him to get everyday playing time, but I think with Langerford, you added Nimmo, who's an above average bat, and also Evan Carter, he's your center fielder, I believe. Like he's yeah, I already have like three above average bats that are projected to be everyday players. So I don't really see that much of a path to playing time for Osuna, but I think he should be on the roster as at worst as like a fourth outfielder. That's what I have for the offense. I'll cover more like when we get into the predicted lineups, but as for the pitching staff, it's a very good pitching staff. Eovaldi and Degrom at the top, two very good arms. Eovaldi, you're not getting this 1.73 ERA again, probably. The BFIP of 311 is still very good. Degrom BFIP at 332, also very good. Two solidly above average arms. They're two very good arms to have at the top of that rotation. And then they brought in Mackenzie Gore this last season. He has a ton of potential, but by ERA, he hasn't been great. Like this year, 417, and in the past, he's had not great seasons. But one thing to keep in mind is that the Nationals, they have a very poor defense. So, and Rangers generally their defense is their defense is a lot better with Berger and Jung are solid corner infielders, and then you have in the middle Corey Seager, who's a very good shortstop, and also Josh Smith at second base now, who's also a good defender because he's someone who can also good enough to play short. But so I that's why I think Mackenzie Gore can maybe overperform his BFIP, and also you think about the Rangers pitching development, they've done quite well the past few years. Like it's for example, like another guy later, like BFIP, not too high on him, but he had a good ERA. Like you can see he overperformed his BFIP. DeGrom overperformed as well. So did Eovaldi. So I think that's a testament to the defense that the Rangers had, and I think Mackenzie Gore, you can, even though the BFIP isn't that great, you can sort of expect maybe a 3.5 or maybe even better from him like this year. And then later is that your 4 probably with Gore signing at 3, and then I I have Latz as the 5 starter. Uh, it's not the biggest sample as a starter. He did pitch in long relief, and Cal Alexander as well. But you can see like every like games versus innings pitched. Alexander, when he was in relief, it was mainly like 2 inning spurts, while Latz is like 2 innings per game on average. Latz closer to 3 innings per game. So that's why. So Latz has like more experience like pitching multiple innings. That's why. And he also ended the year in the rotation. So I think he starts the year in rotation as well. And Cal Alexander, he'll start the year in the as like a long reliever in the bullpen. So as for that bullpen, he has some good arms. Chris Martin, Robert Garcia are 2 guys in the back end of that bullpen. Uh, normally, so the thing is that Martin, he's a righty and Garcia is a lefty. And normally you don't really have closers who are lefties because a lot of them have reverse platoon splits. Sorry, not reverse platoon splits, but like generally most lefty relievers are generally only good against lefties. So that's why, because of that situational thing, for your closer, you generally want a reliever who's good against both lefties and righties. So normally a guy like Robert Garcia may not be a closer, but the thing is that his stuff, if you look at his stuff, he's primarily a fastball changeup guy, and the thing about changeups is that they have reverse platoon splits, so changeups are better against opposite-handed hitters. So, and the changeup is also his best pitch, I'd say. So that's what makes him good as a reliever. So I think because he has such a good changeup, he's actually better against righties, and you sort of want that from a reliever. You want a reliever who's good against righties at worst, because most hitters are righties. But Robert Garcia can also handle lefties, of course. He also has a slider he can mix in. But I think Robert Garcia is the closer and Chris Martin is the 8th inning guy. Like, because their BFIP is so close, and also the ERA is so close, you can make the argument that either arm could be the closer. And I think you can also make the argument that maybe they work based on matchups where Chris Martin gets righties, Robert Garcia gets lefties, something like that. And of course, Tyler Alexander, I covered him. He's sort of in that long relief role. And then Jacob Junis, another solid arm in that bullpen. 2.97 ERA, 3.71 BFIP. He's going to be like a middle of the bullpen reliever. And then, yeah, so let's get into the predicted lineups. At catcher, I have Danny Jansen every day. So we do have Kyle Higashioka as a short side platoon DH. I think you can make the argument that Higashioka is better defensively, though it's sort of like, it depends on where you look, and also it depends on like the track record as well, because Jansen and Higashioka have been better defenders in the past, but last year they weren't as great. So if you think Higashioka is the better defender, then what you could do is have Higashioka at catcher against lefties, and Danny Jansen is maybe DH, or maybe you have McCutcheon short side platoon DH. I don't put McCutcheon in just because look at the splits. 97 BFIP plus against lefties. He's actually better against righties, but he is a right-handed hitter, so like you probably would consider him against lefties. But I wasn't too sure, so I just like left him on the bench. So Yeah, Jock Peterson, strong side platoon DH, Higashioka short side platoon DH, but Higashioka can fill in at catcher and give Benson some days off. So at first base, I have Jake Berger. At third base, I have Josh Jung. Two guys who were sort of hoping for more offensively last year, and maybe they could bounce back. Josh Jung, according to BFIP Plus, not really projected to, while Jake Berger probably will. So yeah, that's what I have for the corners. Second base, platoon Josh Smith and Michael Hellman. Smith, I feel like, is finally getting a more consistent role. He was always that sort of like bench guy, like utility infielder, can play anywhere on the diamond, and generally he filled in at third base, second base, shortstop when guys were hurt. So now he's entering the year as an everyday guy, which I really like. Against righties, he's very good. A 115 WRC plus, 112 BFIP plus. Against lefties, he's not as great, so that's why I put in Michael Hellman in as the short side platoon DH. It's a small sample, but it just there isn't really like much to go off of for a lot of guys against lefties. So he was the best option they had. Hellman is sort of like an outfielder, but also plays a bit of second base and shortstop, so he can reasonably fill in at second base. Shortstop, Corey Seager. Again, you're sort of hoping for a full healthy season from him. He's good when he's on the field, of course. It's just a matter of staying healthy. And then in the outfield, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Brandon Nimmo. These are three guys who were above average hitters overall last year. And I believe if you look at the slips, they were as well. Let me double check. Yeah, against righties, they were all above average, and then against lefties. Actually, Evan Carter against lefties was slightly below average, but he's still like solid. He was still like average by BFIP plus, although it's like small sample. I guess he was getting platooned, but I think he should be an everyday guy because part of it is just like you don't have that many options against lefties, so you could go like maybe like McCutcheon in the field, move Langford to center, something like that, or maybe we can give Alejandro Osuna some playing time. Though I think is let me go. Yeah, Osuna's a lefty, so you can't really platoon him against lefties. You don't really. And also like Osuna, like FIFA Plus not too great against lefties as well. Probably look at that first, honestly. But yeah, that's what I have for the offense. Pitching staff: Eovaldi, DeGrom, Gord, Leiter, and Latz. Very good starting five. Latz, you're not sure how much length you're getting from him. Even though like the ratios have been great, but Kyle Alexander as sort of that long relief guy backing him up that could really help him. And then these four guys are honestly all five of these because you could probably count on them. Maybe not count them, but you could realistically see them having an ERA below 4, all five of them. And then also you have okay, so everybody. Like you also have like Kumar Rocker and a few other guys waiting in the wings at AAA. So if any of those guys get hurt, then like Rocker, not great last year, but he has very good stuff. I think he's been working on some things with spring training, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him bounce back this year. And in the bullpen, Robert Garcia have as a closer, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a joint closer committee, or like Chris Martin is a closer straight up. Like I could really see it going either way. Jacob Junis have another setup man. Luis Crivello, Colin Wynn, Alexis Diaz. There are some solid arms there. Like Crivello was good by BFIP last year, but bad by ERA and sort of like a small sample. So not really sure what you're getting from him. Colin Wynn was not very good ERA, but bad BFIP. And then also Alexis Diaz is sort of like a recommendation project that they're decided to sign. He has good stuff, but hasn't really been able to command it very well at all. And then one more arm, they have Carter Balmer. He was a Rule 5 pick. I was sort of surprised to see him get picked because he hadn't pitched above AA in his minor league career. And last year it was mostly at high A, a little bit of AA. He was solid, like 204 ERA, 250 FIP. But I'm not really sure if he really sticks long term. Well, maybe not long term, just like 40-year. Like he does have pretty good stuff. Like fastball, it's 95.5 with 18 vert from a relatively low release. Well, not that low, but it's like a little bit low. And then also he has a curveball is pretty hard, 84 miles per hour. So it does have good stuff. Did have good strikeout and walk rates, but it was against much weaker competition because that was like mostly at high A. 29 and a third innings at high A, just 7 and 2/3 innings at double A, and also 2 and 2/3 innings at the complex as well. So overall, 39 2/3 innings across all three levels. So I'm not really too sure if about Ballmer, but I think he's worth taking a shot just because like the bullpen isn't too great. And if you look at the WAR projections, you can see like not many relievers to be projected to be like that valuable for them. But they do have like some good top end talent like Corey Seager, 5-win player, Langford, 3.5 wins, Nimmo 3.2 wins. Like consistently been 3 wins every single year for the past few years for Nimmo. So you sort of maybe hoping for this, but you wouldn't be mad for 3 wins from Nimmo. And also just like a lot of decent depth in the offense, a little bit in the rotation too. Like Mackenzie Gore only like 1 more, but again, like with his pitching development, if he has a decent year, he could easily be like at least 2 wins, maybe even 2.5 or 3 wins. Yeah, that's because the Anime Cushion signed recently, the projections look slightly different. But the Rangers 79 and 83 is like still below 500. They sort of like they did add to their team, but they also like subtracted a bit. Like Semyon was another bounce back guy who they probably could have kept, but like they did open up playing time for Josh Smith. I admit that, but like Josh Smith, like honestly, like he's probably more of a 2-win player. I'd think for next year. But yeah, like it's a pretty decent team. Not too great. Like I think the bullpens like really is what's gonna limit them from being like at the top of the division. Like if we look at the AL West, you can see they're actually fourth in the division projected, but like they're 1 win back of the Athletics, who we covered, and 5 wins back of the Astros, who are like pretty like sort of like near wildcard contention. Like the Rangers can still like add a few wins, like maybe find their way into a wildcard spot, but like it all depends on the bullpen because, and I guess also the offense as well. Like, can the offense bounce back to where they're at in like either the past couple of years, and can the bullpen at least like bring it together a little bit? Because this bullpen is like not too great. Like, they can definitely like do better. Like maybe they can like trade for some guys at the deadline. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I have for the Rangers. Thank you for watching and goodbye.